This is DearMamaSal, and it's a rainy Tuesday morning. Not sort of serious rain, just light drizzly rain. Very light. Misty almost. It's more than mist. It's rain. But very, very fine. It's 19... Oh, really? It's 19 degrees in the rain. So you know how... And that would be 66. Yeah, it's going to be a muggy one, isn't it? That's what the problem is. Okay, we got it. So those clouds are so full of moisture. Alright, so hope you all had a good evening. Morning, afternoon, whatever it was in the time since I last spoke to you. I wanted to thank you all for the wonderful feedback you gave me on the pineapple slicer. You know, it was one of those funny things. I saw the thing and I rolled my eyes, you know, and I saw it in the store. I rolled my eyes and thought, yeah, right. You know, yet another gizmo that fails. And then everything in my gut told me, you know, the peeps would love to see you do that. They need a laugh. They want to see you mess that up. And that's actually why I bought it. I didn't buy it because I thought it would work. I bought it because I thought I'd make a total mess of it. And that would make you all laugh. And so nobody, as you gathered, nobody more surprised than I was when I realized the thing was working. You know, you probably noticed my voice change about halfway down that pineapple going, I think it's working. You know, it was just like, it was like almost a disappointment to me because that wasn't quite what I had planned. I had planned, you know, for the thing to absolutely mush up the pineapple, which is why I took half a pineapple. I didn't take, you know, anyway, long story. So today's subject is about gut, your gut. You know, I got a gut feeling that you guys would enjoy that, and you did, but you enjoyed it for a different reason. And you know, I get a lot of you writing to me saying, please do more of these sort of things, and I'd love to, but you know, it has to be within my budget. You know, nothing would make me happier than to be able to afford to go out every day and buy some little gizmo and try it for you. So what I'm going to do is actually do some of the gizmos I already have, so that you can see it. And then, you know, every now and then I'll buy a new one. I must admit that the pineapple slicer was at a price where it was a pleasure to buy it. So, but yesterday was a day of gut feelings anyway. I, you know, was struggling with this whole thing about the little puppy Sophie. Some of you saw the picture on Facebook. A little Havanese Chihuahua mix that was looking for a home, and that's what I heard about it. And when I heard it was looking for a home because the parents were going away and needed to find a good home for her, you know, I said absolutely. You know, I'm your person, because that's what I do. I give good homes to puppies who need it. So, as a lot of you know, I then, about 12 or 24 hours later, found out that they wanted $600 for her. And that sort of, I don't know why that left a strange taste in my mouth. Now, I wasn't sure, to be fair, whether the person who'd first told me about the puppy didn't know about that, or whether the person giving the puppy away, unquote, was being opportunistic. In other words, you know, they saw the opportunity to get some money and thought I was a dead ringer Anyway, whatever the reason was, I drove to work, other than talking to you guys, knowing I was going to have to make a decision, because not making the decision would leave me victim to the decision. Do you know what I mean? If you've got a decision to make and you don't make it, then all the time your mind's busy trying to decide whether or not to make the decision. I wonder if that makes any sense to anybody. Okay, so I hate to do that to myself. It's like, okay, fine, get the facts as far as you can, make the decision, move on, one way or the other. So I had got all the facts that I knew of, and now it was a case of make the decision and move on, because the longer I left it, the more difficult this was going to be. And by the time I got to work yesterday, I had processed. Now, you were saying to me, Sal, but you were talking to us on the way to work. You have to understand, as a professional speaker, I know this is going to sound really weird to you guys, but one of the things I learned as a professional speaker was to compartmentalize my mind. And so X% of my mind, right, is driving, most of it, quite honestly. X% of my mind is talking, and then another X% of my mind is working in the background. And I set my mind to working in the background on this decision about the puppy. And what I noticed was that when I saw that puppy's face, it was cute, but I didn't go, I've got to have that. It wasn't quite cute enough. If I'm going to get a cute dog, it better look like Emily's little Missy and be irresistible. And Missy is irresistible, there's no doubt about it. I can quite understand why he fell in love with her. So, and this one was cute. Now, to me, that's what I need in a dog. Now, I remember when I got Bean, he wasn't what you call irresistible, but he did definitely need a home. Whole different story. Now, he turned out to be knocked down dead gorgeous once he filled out and got his character and grew into himself. I mean, he really was a magnificent looking dog, but he certainly didn't start like that. He looked so pathetic. So when I got to work, I really checked in with myself and said, how are you feeling about this? And my gut told me I wasn't over the moon. And my idea was maybe go and visit the puppy and see if I could knock the price down. Now that would have meant time out of my day, would have meant meeting the puppy and maybe being emotionally messed with that, and then maybe not getting the price knocked down. So I thought, why would I put myself through all that? So I wrote to the person that had first told me about the puppy and said, just need to tell you that I've given it a great deal of thought, and yeah, $600 is a bit steep for me at the moment, so I need to say no to the puppy, but I thank you for trying to help me find one. And then I added, and I hope this doesn't affect our relationship, because for some people they would take that the wrong way. And luckily I got a note back to say absolutely not, and to be honest, when they told me about it, they didn't know either. They didn't know the $600 thing. And absolutely it was not going to affect the relationship one iota, so that was awesome. And then I phoned the owner and I just told the truth and said, really, I am so sorry. I heard that your puppy needed a good home. I was willing to do that, but then I subsequently heard that it was $600. I gave it 24 hours to think about it, and I've thought about it, and that really is too steep for me. I just don't have that amount of money. And I didn't add, considering I'm still going to have the dog spayed, you know, and all sorts of other things. So, and she was charming about it, very gracious. And I didn't over-complicate it, just told the truth, very matter-of-fact way, but, you know, with a softness to it. And put the phone down, and I was clear. I was clear of the decision. I was clear. For one point, I was going to let the other person tell the owner. I was going to wuss out there. Jane, if you know what I mean. And then I thought, no, that's ridiculous. I have the number. Let me do my own stuff here. So I did. I phoned up and I let them know. And quite honestly, when all that was done, I felt good. And then I knew that I had a hole in my muffler, and that would be an exhaust for those of you listening in England. I knew I had a hole in my muffler, and I needed to get it replaced. And so I thought, you know, I really need to do that before the trip down to Seattle for the vlogging fair. So I went to one dealership at lunchtime, one, you know, sort of instant get yourself a new muffler type place, and they were so rude to me in an indirect sort of way. They certainly didn't look happy to get my business. And so I came back, and then I phoned another place that was on the way home, and they really wanted my business, you could tell that. And so I cancelled the first appointment and then went yesterday, left work early, and went and got my muffler changed. And I don't know if you can hear it, but the car is a lot quieter today, and I'm not breathing in bad fumes. So it is it's a really weird thing, because I never along the way asked how much will it cost me to replace my muffler. And to my horror, absolute horror, it turned out to be $400 for a muffler. I mean, we're not talking gold-plated, we're talking about... And even then, the part from the main part of it to the end was so good. They said it looks rusty, but it isn't. It's just, you know, travel dirt sort of thing. But they said the end of it was so good that they actually cut it and didn't put the end part of the muffler on, because the state of the end of mine was so good. So they just welded on the other part. So, and this was a very reputable shop, so the fact that they did that, I had to believe, was a good idea, not a bad idea. So $400. Who knew? I'm just watching a homeless man pass me by, and he's got a cart, and on it is one of those rolling garbage cans that obviously is his suitcase and his life. And I am very, very grateful that I'm driving in a car and on my way to work. Oh, okay. Where was I? $400, that's where I was. Devastated. Now then, you all know that I'm about to go down to Seattle this weekend, expense coming. We know that. And we all know that I have some emergency money standing by because of emergencies. And I guess you all know that I would have spent emergency money to get Sophie, because I am human. And yet, within hours of making the decision not to get her, there it was. Instead of $600 on Sophie, I ended up having to pay $400 on an essential. Now, I'm not saying that a puppy isn't worth it, don't get me wrong. The right one, absolutely. I've never paid for a puppy. I've always, well, I have, but I've never paid that sort of money. So I just had to smile and think, wow, that was a God thing. Said no to the $600 because somewhere God knew that I was going to need the money elsewhere later in the day. Wow. I love those things. And it sort of cemented to me that, you know, that was a good decision I made earlier in the day. I'm delighted to be able to say that one of our viewers wrote to me yesterday and said that the vlog that I did yesterday on bullying was very well timed for her and really helped her. So I'm delighted to hear that. You know, I always say that if one of my vlogs helps one person, it was worth the time. And sometimes I won't hear from that one person, but that's how I always look at it. If it helps one person, then it was worth doing. And so thank you very much for writing and letting me know that that very difficult subject, not a fun one, was worth doing. I really appreciate that. And for all of you who write the comments, thank you so much, because you understand it's great to hear the feedback and know that it's helping people. I'm actually surprised. One person wrote to me, we haven't heard from them for a while, and one person wrote to me and said that being part of Dear Mama Sal was being part of a family to her, and she'd been away for the family for a while for very good reasons, and just in coming back and writing to me, she felt so much better, felt so much more connected. And I thought that was a great compliment. It's exactly why I started this, is exactly why we do what we do, is so that people will have a safe place to come and tell their story, or if they don't want to do that publicly, they can do it privately with a direct email to me. And so when I read this yesterday, I thought, wow, you know, that's so worth doing this, that you can make somebody, not make, and that somebody feels so much more at peace just for knowing that we're there. So absolutely awesome. So my suggestion for the day is to really tune into your gut and look out for what I call the God moments. And I say that not disrespecting anybody's faith. I say that because that's just what I call it, a God moment. You know, where you realize that maybe something, somebody, somewhere sees something that you can't see yet. And that's why I always say to people, you know, however difficult breakups are, or however difficult betrayal is, or however difficult whatever is, and if you can just give it 5 years, you'll look back and go, wow, if that hadn't happened, I wouldn't have done this, and if I hadn't done this, I wouldn't have met this person, or I wouldn't have done this, 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 and this. And, you know, that is really what is so amazing about life, is we don't know in the moment where this next little blip in our life. Somebody wrote to me this week, saying that, you know, life seems to be forever getting in their way. Every time they try and take a step in one direction, then life gets in their way. Well, you know, I think when you're young, it feels like that sometimes. When you're young, and I say young, and I'm meaning anything, not just in your teens, but through your early 20s. I think anything under 25, you know, just don't buy in too much to whatever seems to be going right or wrong. Oh, the one thing I did want to talk about very quickly before I leave this whole subject about the puppy dog. One of the things I have taught myself, because I used to be an emotional wreck about things, and I know some of you relate to that. Some of you get very invested in things. And when you get invested in things, when they go wrong, it tears your heart out. So at least one of my viewers, for example, got really upset because I didn't get Sage. I mean, you could tell they got really, really upset that I didn't get that puppy Sage about a month ago. And they couldn't understand why I wasn't upset to the same degree. And my reality was I wanted Sage, but I didn't get invested. I don't get invested now unless I own the puppy. If I own the puppy, then you watch me get invested. And then, so when I didn't get Sage, you see, my heart wasn't broken because I wasn't fully invested. And then it was like when I saw Sophie, I didn't get fully invested. She was a dog that needed a home, and I kept it at that level. Now, if I'd put her in the car and bought a home and played with her, you can be pretty sure that would have been a whole different story. And that's why they call it a puppy dog sale, is because they give you a puppy to take home for the night, and you will not be able to return it in the morning because you will be invested. And there's a lesson here for somebody. I'm not sure who it is, but whoever it is, write and let me know. And that is, if you get too emotionally involved with things, you will have that level of pain. I wonder if that makes sense. The more emotionally invested you are, the more pain you will feel. The more emotionally invested you are, the more pain you will feel. Make sense? So today, trust your gut. Listen to your inner voice. And we'll do some more work on being emotionally invested. Have a great day, everybody. This is Dear Mama Sal saying, gee, you're looking good today. Bye for now.